So we're leaving our lovely little home in the outskirts of a big city. We are on about a half acre here in a little residential area, and it served us really well, and it was what we wanted at the time. And it was kind of our introduction into being more self-sustainable. We have a couple chickens here, and we have a small garden here, but we wanted more. And the goal was then in a couple years, when I was done grad school, we would then leave here and we would move out east, because that's where we would be able to live the lifestyle that we want to live. And then COVID hit, and that kind of changed our plans. I got into grad school for a September 2020 start, and then unfortunately, hi baby, this is Spirit. Hi, sweetheart. I got into school for a 2020 start in the fall. They didn't tell me that I got in until mid-September. Thought, okay, fine. COVID slowed everything down. That's fine. And then I went to register for courses, and they weren't being offered. I needed 6 courses for fall. I was in a 1-year intensive master's grad program for cellular and molecular medicine. And the fall semester was supposed to be 6 courses, which is a lot for grad school. They could only be done in the fall. And then you had an 8-month intensive research project. Hi. With a research paper. And that was the program. Got into this program, go to register, and the only of the 6 courses, there was a seminar offered. And I tried contacting several different people at the school. I talked to my supervisor, who also contacted people to see how this program was doable. None of the courses were being offered, and no one could give me an answer. So unfortunately, I had to decline the acceptance offer, and that's when we decided, you know what? There's other schools. There's other places I can go. And we sold our house here, and we bought a farm, and I will go to school there once we're settled. It is the Wednesday before our move. Tomorrow we have appointments with the bank and with lawyers. Friday the moving truck comes. Tuesday we're closing, and I think we will leave on the 2nd for a couple of reasons. One being we need our mortgage documents as proof in order to cross the border, and 2, because of the time difference, so this house has to close, and then that the funds from this get sent to the lawyer for the purchase of the farm, and because the time difference doesn't work in our favor, it may not actually get filed, depending on how timing goes, until the morning of the 2nd. So we're going to move out of here on the 1st. We're going to stay at my family's cabin for the night, socially distanced, not interacting with anybody, just as a secondary place where we can, because we have to be out of here. And then first thing on the 2nd, we will be all packed up, ready to go, and we will make our journey. In terms of the farm itself, we have big plans, and I will talk about kind of the 3-year plan that we have for that. One of the big things for us is that we just wanted to be more self-sustainable. We wanted to be able to grow and raise more of our own food. We also wanted privacy. We're both introverted people. We like spending time just together as a couple, and we wanted to be able to spend more time together and do more things together. And we wanted to do it on land that we could do all of our different hobbies and interests on, as well as being able to raise the food for ourselves. And as well too, we have 4 large dogs. We want to give them the best life possible, and they are very happy here. We have a huge fenced in safe yard for them here, but we are going to double or triple the size of their run at the new place. So I'm very excited about that. I'm stressed, but it's slowly coming together. I'm taking it day by day. I think that's all that we can do at this point. My stomach is just waiting for everything to come crashing down. So I will feel much better once we have the keys to our farm, and we are safely tucked away in quarantine for 2 weeks in our new home. But I wanted to talk a bit about the exciting things and kind of the plan that we have for the next couple years, because I think that for me, talking about what I'm excited about is going to cut some of the stress out. So while I'm sitting here in my packed up bedroom in Ontario, when my mattress on the floor, no bed frame, boxes everywhere, but I've got Hershey here with me, and Spirit chewing on a bone. So I thought I'd talk about it. Do we have any idea what we're doing? Not really. This is going to be a lot of new learning experiences for us. We have skill sets, and we have interests, and we have done lots of research. But in terms of some actual aspects of the farm, we're jumping in head first. So we do have kind of a 3-year plan, though, for things that we want to get done and things that we want to do. We have noticed from different people that we've watched, whether in real life or YouTube or whatever, is a common mistake that a lot of people make is jumping in too quickly with too many things. And then you're pulled in all these different directions, and you can't, you're trying to learn too many things at once. That's enough. So we, as much as we would like to do, we're so excited, we want to do everything. We know that that's not the smart move, especially when you're talking about livestock, because when you are responsible for that life, you want it to be the best life. And if you don't know what you're doing, that's not doing them any service. So we'll be moving in December. So we'll be getting there, and it'll be winter. It's hibernating season. We won't be doing too much over the winter. We'll be doing things like exploring our property, getting ready to organizing the workshop in the garage, cleaning out the barn, seeing if there's anything. I think from the photos that we saw, there's some scrap metal and wood in there, so we're hoping that they haven't cleared that out, and that we'll be able to sort through and see what could be usable by us, repurposed in other places. So those will be kind of the outdoor projects that we'll be doing, and then indoor things, setting up our home, our indoor hobbies that we have, stuff like that. But for year 1, we are going to do gardens. Neither of us are really gardeners. That's going to be a huge learning curve for us, but we both have interest in it, and we'll figure it out together. So ideally, in a perfect world, we would have our outdoor plots, and then we would have a high tunnel, and then I would also like a small greenhouse for starting seedlings in. I think for year 1, we will definitely do the outside garden, and I will start seedlings inside. The high tunnel may or may not happen year 1. I think that we kind of want to see what the full year seasonally is going to look like, and that will help us better determine where we can put such a large infrastructure. Then we are also going to do laying hens. So we're going to build them a nice big coop and have lots of laying hens. I think we're going to raise them from chicks this time, which is something we haven't done before. We'll raise them from chicks, and we'll hopefully keep maybe 20 to 30 chickens with a few roosters. And then we'd also like to try meat chickens. So meat chickens is something that I think is a good introductory livestock for meat, because they grow quickly, and for myself at least, I think that butchering chickens is a good introduction into larger butchery projects and butcher animals. So we're going to start with meat chickens. Probably we might do 1 round, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. I say probably start with 1 round in sometime over the summer. And then that will be the main things that we'll be working on for this year. Other things, obviously, very first thing we're going to do, and when everything thaws, is build a nice big dog fence for the dogs to have a nice run. And we'd like an outdoor kitchen would be something that we wanted to have. So that way we can also do, when we do canning in the fall, gets so hot in the kitchen because it's on all day and you're standing over it all day. And I think it would be so much nicer to be able to have an outdoor space, an open space, where I can do that outside. Also, things like we did beeswax rendering this year for the first time with a friend's hive, and it is messy and it is hot, and you definitely have to do that outside. Things like when we butcher chickens, having a nice clean antiseptic area, but still outside where we can do the processing. Things like I do soap making. Don't love doing it in the house because I'm working with Lai and I have 4 large bouncy dogs, and I don't ever want to have an instance where there's some sort of mistake where the dogs can get into that. So if I have a space outside where away from the dogs where I can do my soap making, that would also be a really nice thing. Also, with hunting, any animals that we harvest, that way we have space where we can process them safely outside. And again, that way the dogs aren't getting into anything that they're not supposed to. Year 1, 2, I would also like to make contact with a local beekeeper. I would like to in year 2 to get beehives. And I know that from all the research that I've done, you can read all the books that you want, you can watch all the videos that you want, but everybody recommends that you get a beekeeping mentor because it's the best way to learn hands-on about bees. And there's so many different things to learn about them. So I'd like to be able to get in with a mentor in year 1 and help them with their hives and learn about their beehives, so that year 2 we can get a few hives. What else, Hershey? Also in year 2, we'd like to do piglets. So we're gonna raise, I think maybe two piglets and raise them up until butcher. The goal for us is to be self-sustainable as much as possible, but it's also because we know that we are meat eaters. We eat meat and we always will. But we do also care about our animals. We care about our pets. We care about our livestock. And we want to make sure that the meat that we are eating has lived the best life that it can before it sustains our lives. And I think that we've become so distanced from that process in our modern life. And I don't want that distance to be there. I did a lot of soul searching with myself about why I was so uncomfortable with the idea of hunting, why I was so uncomfortable with the idea of how could you raise an animal from a baby and then eat it? Why does that make me uncomfortable? And it's because I'm so distanced from that aspect of where our meat comes from. And I don't want to be playing into the factory farms as much as possible. I can go to a grocery store, I can go to a butcher, I could even buy from another farm where I know it's been raised well. But if they can do it, why can't I? And I don't want to be distanced from that. I think that it's important to, when you're thinking about self-sustainability and you're thinking about morality, that I know I will never be a vegetarian. So what can I do in my life to ensure that I'm not perpetuating these factory farms where conditions are not ideal for these animals? And the logical step was to buy a farm. So that's what we're doing. It's going to be difficult for me. I know that. It's going to be a journey, which is why we're starting with the meat chickens, because I feel like that's a good introduction to that aspect. And I think it's important for me. I understand that this isn't everybody's journey, but this is my journey. And I will start with chickens and see how that goes. And if I can't do that, that's fine. I will just help with the processing afterwards instead. And the same thing with the pigs. We're not going to keep these pigs. They are not going to end up as pet pigs. We can't let that happen. And by we, I mean me. I know I'm a softie, and I know that pigs are charismatic and smart and often likened to the personalities of dogs. And I know that's going to be difficult for me, but I think it's an important step into this lifestyle. So we're going to raise 2 or 3 piglets in year 2. 2 or 3 piglets in year 2. And we'll see how that goes. It's also a good introduction for us as well into how we like to raise large livestock. do we like it? And do we like, because in year 3, our goal is to get a dairy cow, and or 2. We drink a lot of milk. We go through a lot of cream. I make cheese. We use a lot of dairy products, and we think that it only makes sense if we have the space and the resources, that why would we not also have a dairy cow? The difficulty comes then with, that is a lifelong animal. That is an animal. It's not like the pigs or the chickens where you have them for a season and then you process them and then you're done. And you don't have to worry about them over the winter. You don't have to care for them over the winter. You don't have to bring them water twice a day and make sure that it's, you know, not frozen. You don't have to do any of that. What are you doing? So we want to first chickens, second pigs. That's our introduction to large livestock. What if we hate it? It's entirely possible. We don't want to jump in with a dairy cow who's going to live for 10 or 12 years and then go, oh shit, year 1, we don't like having to take care of this animal over the winter. And now we're stuck with a very expensive, very large animal that is a large time requirement as well. So we'll start with the pigs in that aspect and see how we like it. If we were like, yeah, that's great, we'll do pigs every year from now on, then we'll go and we will get a dairy cow and we will race with her and her baby. We would like to do calf sharing for milk cows. I don't like the idea of removing the baby right away. I just don't like that idea. I know lots of people do it, but I like to do calf sharing. I think there's more than enough milk in a dairy cow that we can share that once the baby is old enough to obviously have partially pasture and partially mom's milk. So that's kind of our big our 3-year broad strokes plan. So year 1 is going to be gardens, laying hens, and possibly meat chickens, and finding a beekeeper mentor. Year 2 will be obviously continuing those things, adding bees and raising piglets. Year 3, if all goes well, again, we will continue those things. We will care for the bees, we will likely get more piglets, and we may add a dairy cow and calf to our farm. You want to meet Spirit? Here he is. That's our newest baby. He's about 7 or 8 months old. He was a foster, and we foster failed. We were very bad at fostering. We keep about half the dogs that we foster. So Spirit had both of his back legs were broken. As you can see, he's walking around fine now, and his pelvis was broken. So he had surgery to remove the ball on his top of his femurs. And then his pelvis had to fuse back together with bed rest. So he's now doing physiotherapy, massage therapy with me every day. But he is an absolute sweetheart, and he's very bonded to us and the dogs, his big brothers. And there was no way we could say goodbye to this little face. So I guess one last question would be, one last question would be, why the videos? Why am I going to start making these videos? Part of it is because I really love watching homesteading videos on YouTube. I think it's a wealth of information to be able to see what other people are doing, how they're doing it, and it's a great way to learn. And the second thing is I'd like to document our progress. I've just outlined our 3-year plan, and I want to be able to look back in a year, 2, 3 to these ideas that I have right now in December 2020, and kind of hash out and see how that plan worked out. And then the last part of it is for my family and for our friends. We're moving very far away. I mean, it's not really far, but it's far. We are going to see each other less often. And I think that living in the age of technology now, we have the ability to connect in different ways. And one of them is videos. So this way, my family and our families and our friends can be able to see what we're up to, and we can stay connected with that one little aspect more because of it. Right? This is Boston. He's our other foster fail. So, I don't have any camera equipment yet. I don't have any fancy, noise stabilizers and phone stabilizers and tripods or anything like that yet, but that will be coming. So hopefully this video turns out okay. And I think as well, I'll come up with some sort of clever way to end these videos, some sort of phrase. But for now, I'm just going to say goodbye, and I'm going to keep packing, and I'll check in with you guys hopefully either along the drive or when we arrive. So, bye.